Well, let's go to Mark Latham, where the reaction from parents to this indoctrination in our schools has been extraordinary. I want to go back briefly to that point. Public school teachers, remember, learning how to teach gender fluidity, LGBTQIA, that's lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, intersex and asexual. And this inclusive schools course. I want to get away from this a minute. I just want to ask Mark. Mark, the correspondence has been unbelievable. Is this still being offered?
Well, as far as we know, when the New South Wales Parliament last met, the Education Minister misled the Parliament in saying that the material had been taken down. At last report, it's under review, and I'll try and get an update on that when the Parliament sits tomorrow and through the week.
Good on you.
It's quite unbelievable.
Good on you. You're doing a brilliant job. Just repeating, what they're teaching the teachers is that if the teacher finds out something about the sexuality of a student, don't tell the parents.
Well, that's right, and the New South Wales Teachers Federation runs the so-called professional development course. Shouldn't they lose their accreditation? I mean, shouldn't the minister say,
Definitely.
look, if you're so far away from evidence-based, beneficial teaching and professional development for the teachers to help the students, you shouldn't be running any of these courses. You can't be trusted.
Right.
And that really should have been the ruling from day one.
Definitely. Now, I want to go tonight to Kirrawee High. This is about a questionnaire handed out. Parents, you're going to faint out there. And without Mark Latham, you wouldn't even know about it. Handed out in a personal development class, Year 8. These are 13 to 14-year-olds at Kirrawee High. It's called a heterosexual questionnaire. And it says, please try to answer the questions as honestly as possible. It's going to be hard. That's the whole point. There are the questions. 1, what do you think caused your heterosexuality? 2, when and how did you first decide you were heterosexual? 3, is it possible your heterosexuality is just a phase you might grow out of? 4, if heterosexuality is normal, why are a disproportionate number of mental patients heterosexual? 5, to whom have you disclosed your heterosexual tendencies? How did they react? 6, your heterosexuality doesn't offend me as long as you don't try to force it on me. Why do you people feel compelled to seduce others into your sexual orientation? 7, if you choose to nurture children, would you want them to be heterosexual, knowing the problems they'd face? 8, the great majority of sexual predators are heterosexuals. Do you really consider it safe to expose children to heterosexual teachers? 9, why do you insist on being so obvious and making a public spectacle of your heterosexuality? Can't you just be who you are and keep it quiet? 10, with all the societal support marriage receives, the divorce rate's skyrocketing. Why are there so few stable relationships among heterosexuals? 11, how could the human race survive if everyone were heterosexual, considering the menace of overpopulation? 12, there seem to be very few happy heterosexuals. Techniques have been developed with which you might be able to change if you really want to. Have you considered trying aversion therapy? Mark, what the hell?
Well, Alan, where does this sexuality teaching come from in our schools? Why is it needed? What's it got to do with giving young people a good future in life, finding a job? And Alan, who the hell do these teachers think they are? The idea that male teachers would be asking these questions at a high school in Sydney of 13-year-old girls. 13-year-old girls in Year 8, some of whom wouldn't have any sexuality awareness or identity or necessarily feelings. This is a weird, wacko, creepy ideology that's come into our schools. The material there, the questionnaire, comes from some nutter in the United States from 1972. Now, you'd have to be a weird person in our schools, and you don't belong in our schools. If you reach into the United States from 50 years ago to find that rubbish and make 13-year-old girls and boys answer it, it's a disgrace. The principal of the school should be sacked. The teacher should never be allowed anywhere near a young person ever again. The minister has said, a rare intervention, that the school doesn't use this material anymore.
Yeah, but hang on,
the people responsible shouldn't be in the school anymore.
What? Who brought the resource into the school, and how many other schools are using the same resource?
Well, the government wouldn't know, Alan. Berejiklian and her government have got no idea what's taught in the classroom because they don't mandate a single textbook. They don't mandate any learning materials. It's open slather. The policy of local schools, local decisions brought in by that lunatic Piccoli years ago means schools have got a free rein, a blank cheque. They can do whatever they like in terms of textbooks and learning materials, and this is the consequence of it. People who shouldn't be teachers are bringing sexuality material in completely inappropriate for 13-year-olds.
Just extraordinary, isn't
It
it?
is.
I mean,
It's unbelievable. Gladys Berejiklian spending 6 years
Yeah.
with that crooked boyfriend, obviously distracted by it, should have been concentrating on the well-being of our young children. She's the disgrace. She should go as well.
good on you, Mark Latham. Now, look, we're not going to give up here, and we're just deeply grateful to you. And the parents out there, Mark, do appreciate it. So tell us what you think, Alan at skynews.com.au. 0414 00848. What do you make about your kids 13 to 14 being asked these heterosexual questions? If you should choose to nurture children, would you want them to be heterosexual, knowing the problems they'd face? Serious stuff. We're grateful to Mark Latham. We'll be back after the break.